Good morning, campers. It's Brad again. Today's subject is Can you be my student? And the short answer is no. But I'd like to give a longer answer than that. I got 2 emails today from strangers who I don't know asking if they could be my student. I get these kind of emails, I don't know, once a month, once every 6 weeks. They come on a fairly regular basis, and I always hate answering them. Not because I hate you, but because I feel bad. I can't be your teacher, so it's moot point to even ask. But you ask, and I understand that you're trying to offer something to me or be kind to me or saying you admire my work or you like what I say and you like my books and all that stuff. And so it's nice. It's nice to be asked, but I can't reciprocate. So that's the problem. And I'd like to explain to you why. And I've done this in writing a number of times, but I think maybe if I do it with this face looking at you, it might be a little easier to understand. I mean, first of all, look at me. You want this to be your Zen teacher? This is really? That's number one. I mean, just to give you an example of what sort of person you're dealing with, this you can't see all these shelves here, but this shelf over here is entirely Three Stooges books. Okay? I have 3 biographies of Larry Fine, of the Three Stooges. 3. I'm just going to show you all 3. This is a rare one because it was written supposedly by Larry himself, but apparently it was written by this dude. Very strange little Three Stooges artifact that I was fortunate enough to find at a bookstore in Long Beach that has since gone out of business. And I've got a biography of Joe Besser. Now, if you don't know who Joe Besser was, how could you expect to be my student? I also have a bio of Curly. I'm just showing you this just to let you know I'm not making this stuff up. There's a ton more Three Stooges books. The upshot of all of this is I'm gonna disappoint you. Okay, there is a way you can sort of be my student. I don't call anyone my student because I think that's demeaning to a person. I don't understand why anybody would refer to somebody as that's my student. That seems weird to me, so I don't ever do that. But if you want to come, I always list on my blog every damn time all the places you can come see me. I sit most weeks at Angel City Zen Center, so you can find me there. There's a list of other places I travel to. I try to keep that updated on the blog all the time, so I'm not hard to find if you want to find me. That being said, the way I look upon this Zen teaching thing is as kind of an apprenticeship. If you go to a potter, that potter is good at making pottery. You find somebody whose pottery you like and you want to learn how to make pottery. Now, some of them will give you lessons, but what's much more common in the apprenticeship model is they don't give you any lessons. They just say, okay, you can hang out while I make pottery as long as you don't get in the way and as long as you make me sandwiches or clean my tools or something or make yourself useful in some way. That's kind of how I look at the Zen thing. I will sit Zazen every day, rain or shine. That's what I do. I study Dogen. I write books about Dogen. I have that going. But that's my thing. And if you come around, then I want you to contribute something. Either contribute some cash in the bucket so that we can keep the Angel City Zen Center running, or do something, help clean the place up, do something to help me, whatever. It has to be a reciprocal relationship. And what I find that most people, well, I was going to say what I find most people want. The fact is, I don't know what most people want. When people say, can I be your student? That's usually all they say. So I have no idea what they expect this relationship to be about. Like, do they expect me to give them lessons? Like, lesson 1, snatch this guitar pick from my hand. In lesson 2, snatch this guitar pick from my nose, grasshopper. I don't know. Is that what they want? Or do they expect that by studying with me, they'll be able to kind of rise up the Zen ladder and become priests themselves and get a book deal, or I don't know. I don't know what people want, and so nobody ever explains that to me. And so I feel like saying yes to such a question that is so nebulous, I don't know what I'm saying yes to, right? So how can I say yes to a request that I don't even know what the request is? My other problem is a lot of people imagine that they'll be my student long distance via email and Skype. That's kind of a common one. I don't believe in that kind of teaching because I believe that Zen teaching has to be done face to face. And I don't mean fake face on a screen to other fake face on a screen. I mean actual face-to-face. It's called menju in Japanese. That means face-to-face teaching. And if it's not done that way, I don't see how it can be done. Let me try to explain by just giving you a concrete example. You're looking at me on this screen, and all you're seeing is my head and shoulders. For all you know, my zipper could be down. In fact, my zipper is down. I noticed this before I started making the video, and I thought, oh, I can make a point of that, but I'm not going to stand up and show you because that would be gross. You don't realize that this room I'm sitting in is an awful fucking mess right now, because for the last 3 days I've been really, really engaged in doing the final touches on my upcoming book. It came from Beyond Zen, and I just haven't cleaned up. Yesterday I did some laundry, but that's the closest I did to cleaning up. So this place is a shambles. I won't even let my girlfriend come over here now until I fix this. But you don't see that. So it's very easy for a person who is doing Zen teaching via Skype or some other format to kind of hide behind that. So I could put up, I've got my bookshelf back here, but I could put up, some Zen shit and make you think it's all spiritual and whatnot. Maybe I have a piece of incense burning in front of me while I talk to you and all this stuff. And you get a totally mistaken impression about who you were talking to, as well as I would get a totally mistaken impression about who I was talking to. I wouldn't get the fact that you hadn't bathed for a while and smelled terrible. I wouldn't get any of that stuff. In fact, I smell pretty bad right now too, because it's been hot and I've been writing all morning and I haven't taken a shower yet. So there you go. You're missing all of that. And these things are important because this is human communication. When it's by email, it's even worse. All I see is a name on a generic header. So I don't know what you look like. I don't know what you sound like. I don't know anything about you. I don't know if you're nervous when you're talking to me, if you're happy or whatever. So much is lost that I feel like real communication is next to impossible. The other thing is just the type of person I am. I mean, I already told you about my books and my toy collection and all this other garbage. I'm also a kind of person who, how can I say this? I spent the morning, it's now 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So I got up about 7:30 today, did my Zazen, and immediately plopped my butt on the chair over there in the kitchen, which you can't see, and started replying to a backlog of emails people had sent me. I take each email super seriously, and I'm sure I had less than 10. I didn't count this morning, but I'm sure it was not 10. And it took me from about 8 in the morning till right now at 2, with a break to eat lunch and a couple of breaks to just clear my head out. That's how long it took me to reply to about 8 emails. So the more people I say, oh, you can email me anytime, the worse that's going to get, and I just can't do it. The other problem with me being your teacher is that your teacher, if you're not in proximity to me, in physical proximity to me, then there is almost no chance that I am the best teacher for you. Someone in your own area who understands the milieu culturally and everything else that you come from is going to be a much better teacher for you. And I want you, dear viewer, to seek that person out and not pass that person by just because he's not as famous as me. The fame thing is also gets in the way. I'm not super famous, but I'm famous enough that occasionally people stop me on the street, or or if I walk into certain places, like if there's Zen places or New Agey places, people all like turn and look at me and have to, whisper among themselves. It creates a different sort of atmosphere. So if you're in proximity to me and you can come to the Angel City Zen Center every week or something, hopefully most of that sort of stuff will wear off. But if you're far away, it might never wear off, and you'll still be weighing way too heavily anything that I say over things that you're encountering in your real environment. You'll be distracted by this pseudo environment of Skype or whatever. So I would feel that would be doing a disservice to you as the person who wants to learn from me. So those are the main reasons. I could probably come up with a few more, but I also want you to maybe pay attention to how I am when I'm saying this. You can feel this little bit of stress in my voice, I think. I would hope you can hear that, because it stresses me out to be that. I don't want that responsibility for your life. I'm not going to take responsibility for your life, but you might think I will. And just to sort of wrap it all up, I'll tell you about the last time that I said to somebody, okay, I'll be your teacher. We had a retreat at Mount Baldy Zen Center, I don't know, 4 years ago or so, I think. And this guy showed up who I'd never seen before. I don't know where he'd come from. He'd come from somewhere not in LA, but in California. And we had what we call Dokusan, which is a private meeting between teacher and student, which I offer to anyone who comes on a retreat, as within reasonability. I try to offer it. So this guy, during his Dokusan, is looking up at me like, I'm looking at myself in the monitor to see if I'm getting the face right. He's like, I would like you to be my teacher. And he gave me a list of reasons, and he was very like, I really want you to be my teacher. And I don't know, something stupid happened to me. And I said, okay, I'll be your teacher. I don't usually say that, but I thought, well, maybe, people are asking me this all the time. I'll try it out with this guy. We'll see how it works. So he's far away. He lives like 2 hours drive away or something like that. So we're not seeing each other. I see him a few weeks later in another city, and I didn't recognize him. I mean, I recognized him as a person I'd seen before, but I didn't remember this whole conversation about him being my student. I didn't associate that with him because my brain is fucked. I think I might have that a mild version of that thing where people don't recognize faces. I mean, I do recognize faces, but I met a woman once who said she had this weird mental condition that prevents her from recognizing faces, and I'm like, whoa, that sounds like me sometimes. So like, I saw this guy, I knew I'd met him before, but I couldn't, nothing else. And he starts talking to me in that little voice, and he wants to, and I'm just kind of going, yeah, and I could tell he was like offended that I didn't recognize him, or I didn't respond the way he thought I should. Then, flash forward like a week after that, he writes me another email about being my student. And I liked what he said because I thought it kind of encapsulated some things. So I took his email, I took out everything that could possibly identify him in any way. Any references to a specific place we'd met, any references to the fact that we'd even met. Everything is out of this. And I even changed a couple of things around to sort of divert any attention that might go his way. And then I responded to this on my blog. I put part of the quote from him, and then I responded to it, saying basically what I said earlier in this video, like, how can I be your teacher? What do you want from me, etc., etc. The guy went weird on me. I had a comments section on the blog at that point, and he just starts obsessively commenting how I'd publicly shamed him, and I was an evil person, and obviously this and that, and he was pulling things out of things he must have found on the internet about how bad I was, and this awful thing I'd done, and and I'm just going, should have gone with my first instinct, should have said no. So I don't know you, and I don't know if you're gonna go weird on me if you do that, if I say you can be my student. I don't know what you're going to be like. So my preferred mode of operation is you come, you sit with me if you want, if you can make it here. Maybe over time something develops and we start having conversations. That might happen. It might not happen. I'll get to feel a little bit more comfortable with you because I've lots of social anxiety. This guy. I come off pretty like smooth when I'm in front of an audience, but I'm really don't like interacting with people very much. This is a standard trait for people who get into things like being a writer or being a Zen student. We're basically generally introverts, right? And I'm kind of one of these supposed extroverted introverts who can pull out the stuff you need to talk in front of a crowd, but I don't like talking to people one-on-one. So there you go. I hope you learned something from that, and I hope you get what I'm saying, and thank you for your interest. Donation buttons are below, and see you next time.